Live at 10.
Well, look at this video on your screen of our sky cam from earlier this evening showing how strong the wind gusts have been across our region. You can see the camera shaking, and even there is even dust from the wind picking it up. Well, thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Ethan Kramer. We begin tonight with thousands of North Dakota residents are without power after high winds throughout the day, and we've even seen some fires on the western side of the state. I'm going to send things over to meteorologist Joseph Williams with more. Joseph.
Yeah, that's right. We had some pretty strong wind gusts throughout the afternoon and evening hours. So here's a map showing all the power outages that occurred. This is as of 9:46 p.m. So we had over 1,000 power outages in Ramsey County alone, over 500 in Benson County at one point. In total across North Dakota, we have, as of 9:46 p.m., 5,404 power outages. So pretty bad system that moved through this afternoon and evening, and here's why. Wind gusts are still in the 50+ mile per hour range across eastern North Dakota, like 52 in Devils Lake, 51 in Jamestown, 53 in Fargo. So it's still very windy as we head into the late evening and overnight hours, and that's why we have wind alerts in effect until between 1 to 4 a.m. across all of eastern North Dakota and Minnesota. Very active night ahead of us. Aside from that, we are dry at least. Temperature is 63 in Fargo. Again, sustained wind of 31 miles per hour, gusting up to 53. Very windy outside. As we head into the late evening hours, temperatures are in the 60s. We're dry. Just a few clouds, and that's it. During the late evening hours, we'll continue seeing those wind gusts, but I'll go over how long the strong winds will last in the full forecast.
Awesome. Thanks, Joseph. Well, it's a good idea to keep that VNL weather app handy for forecasts right at your fingertips. You can download it and use it free. Just search VNL weather in the App Store today. Well, one of the most storied rivalries in college football, UND versus NDSU. What makes the matchup so special is the bitter feeling the schools have for each other. Valley News team Harrison Prey has the story.
Not a single thing to praise if you're a Fighting Hawk.
I would have to say probably everything. I don't like a single thing about NDSU.
And what makes a Bison steaming with rage.
Probably the people there. They just think they're so good.
It's how talked up they are. They have a good hockey team, but their football program's not where it needs to be. They did win last year, but we're coming back for revenge.
117 games, the long history of wins, losses, and even ties still leave the same impression on each other. But they can't resent each other because they face off in a sporting event, can they?
It smells like farm. It's just not a good school, poor education.
It's much more than that.
Sometimes the fans can be kind of crazy.
A certain look that just doesn't sit right.
Everything. I mean, they have their own color green, it's in Grand Forks, I don't know, real hurt, I guess.
And a fan base that believes they will win at all costs.
Hit some, but yeah, we're probably 49 to 12. We're having a pretty confident score.
35 to 31, UND.
In Fargo, Harrison Prey, Valley News Live.
Well, sorry, UND. Well, you got absolutely dominated this year from this, but a little different from last year. North Dakota State gets its revenge with a convincing 41-17 victory in the Fargo Dome. The Bison were in control, but star QB Cam Miller did leave the game in the third quarter with an ankle injury. Eric Moon has the injury update, the highlights, and much more from this game during sports. Well, yesterday, Grand Forks Fire Department responded to a structure fire and discovered there were several reports of people trapped inside the apartment building. According to GFD, at approximately 7:15 p.m., Grand Forks firefighters responded to 2816 South 17th Street and found smoke and flames showing. Fire crews immediately started searching the building for trapped occupants. Fire crews removed one resident and multiple pets from the third floor. The tenants of the building were displaced for the night. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. Well, new information, a trial date has been set for the West Fargo man charged with the murder of his wife. Spencer Moen pleaded not guilty to charges of murder and contributing to the deprivation of or delinquency of a minor. The 31-year-old was arrested at his home last August when his wife was found dead in their bathtub. An autopsy determined she had died from blunt force trauma to the head. Moen's trial is scheduled to begin October 15th. Well, continuing coverage, yesterday in the early morning hours, a reporter and photojournalist were charged at, swung at, and even spit on in downtown Fargo by a person believed to be homeless.
Valley News Live, and we do a bunch of live shots in the morning with our interviewees. And hi,
Sarah over there?
oh God, I think it might be actually, but I'm not 100% sure. She was kind of running around screaming for a bit, and then came at us, tried to throw a punch, and then spit on me.
We're glad they're doing okay. Now, the woman on your screen was the woman that was believed to be involved in the altercation involving our VNL News crew. Well, more continuing coverage. This comes as of one of the only homeless shelters in the downtown FM area. Churches United announced they're making cuts. In August, Pastor Devlin Brooks said the nonprofit could potentially restructure to put them in a better position for a more stable financial future. Now, yesterday, the nonprofit tells us they have cut nearly 20% of their staff and 25% of their full-time employees since the first week of August. Now, for more stories like this, it's a good idea to keep that VNL News app handy for breaking news right at your fingertips. You can download it and use it for free. Just search VNL News in the App Store today. Well, former President Donald Trump was back in Butler, Pennsylvania today, just a couple months after he was nearly assassinated back in July. Trump talked about that day and also paid tribute to the man who died that day, killed while trying to protect his family during the attack. This is what Trump had to say.
This field is now a monument to the valor of our first responders, to the resilience of our fellow citizens, and to the sacrifice of a loving and devoted father. A really great man, you know that.
Well, also former President Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and billionaire Elon Musk also joined the former president for the rally in Butler.
Still expecting strong winds over the next few hours, but they will die down heading into tomorrow morning. I'm going to go over the details and what the next several days are looking like in the full forecast.